Hey guys, welcome back to another session of Techify Zone. In this session, tutorial number 14, we are specifically targeting Selenium basic commands. So this is going to be a very important session if you are learning automation testing using Selenium and Java for the first time. So listen this, and I would recommend go through this session till the end so that you understand all the basic commands, all their usage, and specifically their syntax, how to use them. Okay, so let's quickly begin with it. And in the previous session, as we talked about XPath, locators, different locator strategies, and we differentiated the locator strategies with respect to Selenium 3 and 4. So that's a very important session. If you have not attended it, I must recommend before coming to this session, go ahead and deep dive into that session, learn the different locator strategies, and then come, because we are going to create a lot of XPath and IDs in this session. Maybe it can be confusing for you. So better to have an overlook of the previous one and then coming back to the new one. Okay. Now, talking about the Selenium basic command. So I have just categorized these Selenium basic commands into 5 different sections over here, like get commands or a navigation commands as well. I will say like get and a navigation commands, web element interaction commands, managing browser windows, okay, handling commands, and then I would say like closing and quitting the browser commands. Okay, so let's talk from the start. Like whenever we start with Selenium automation, our first step is launching a browser. Okay, triggering our URL to that browser, and then maybe it's a normal application or a login based page where we interact with some elements and then do a basic interaction with the web elements, right? Then there can be a case that it has multiple windows, it has a single window where we have to or else if I have different windows or different tabs where we need to switch between them, so we manage those windows as well. Then we have like handling alerts. There can be a case that you are about to delete something from your application and it give you a pop-up, right? Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes or no, or okay or cancel. So we handle that as well. And at last, once your job is done on your browser testing, what do? You either close that particular tab or you quit the whole browser, right? So that's how I categorized it. The way of interacting with the browser, the way of interacting or testing your particular scenarios over the browser using the Selenium and Java. So first, let's majorly focus on this one, which is get and navigation command. So our start happens from here, right? So technically, I would say like in get or in these commands, we have different set of I would say different set of this basic methods, which I am just about to copy paste over here. Okay, so we have a get method, we have a get page source method, which I have a get title method, get current URL method. In this, we'll type the URL. Okay, there are other, these are related to only get. Okay, there are other methods as well, which are related to your navigation commands too. So we have like navigate dot to method, we have like navigate dot back method. Let me paste those as well over here. See, so we have these many methods related to your browser navigation and getting something from that current URL. Okay, so the first method will help you to launch or kind of triggering, or I would say, or hitting the, or I will say launching the application for you. Okay, so technically it's basically launching a URL and launching my and loading my application. Get page source. So what exactly is a page source, right? So whenever you are working with any of the application, so technically in that there is a, you can do a right click and you can get the complete page source of it. There is a view page source option. Once you hit a right click, and it will give you the complete page structure and the page source, which is the code which is actually getting implemented on that particular application. So if I need that thing, I can use this get page source and it can give me the complete, I will say, complete page source of app as a string. Okay, now get title. Get title mean like title of your application. It will return the title of your application as a string. Okay, get current URL. So in this case, I am passing that particular URL. Maybe in some case your URL gets changed, okay, or it's navigated to any different URL. You want to get that particular current URL where you exactly are. So it will return the current URL of your application where you exactly are. Now coming to this navigate.to. This is similar to your get, okay, but this is a different kind of a method which is calling a further different method. I'd say a to method is basically navigating to different URL, okay. And then we have similar kind of navigate dot back method, which means whenever you are on any browser, there is a back key, right, or a back arrow pointing on the top left of your browser, where you actually, if you click it, you navigate back to the previous page. So the same thing we are doing over here, navigating back to previous screen. Same goes, same vice versa for this one as well, navigating forward or to the next screen. Now you are already navigated back to the previous screen. Now your job is done and you want to navigate again back to the previous screen where you were, okay, the forward screen technically. So I am back to the forward screen, forward to next screen, okay. Now I want, usually you do F5 on your keyboard to refresh your application, right? So it's similar thing. Mm. It's like refreshing your application, your app. Okay. So these are the main usage of these common methods where we will be actually using the same methods over here in the Eclipse, and I will be showcasing you that how we can actually leverage all these methods and how we can use it and we can work along with it. So let's navigate to Eclipse. Okay, now we are on our Eclipse. Okay, so now let's test all those methods which I have shown you over there, and let me do one thing. Let me quickly copy paste all those methods over here so that I remember like which particular method I need to call them in which particular sequence. Okay. Okay, over here. So now let's do a quick coding. Okay. First of all, I have already called like launched a particular line where I have written WebDriver is equal to new Chrome driver. Technically, it will be launching my Chrome once I trigger the app, this particular code. Okay. And after that, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to hit a normal URL. Okay. So let me take a very basic URL like google.com. Okay. So driver.get. So you can see I have string as a URL. Let's use it. I'll be typing HTTP, then google.com. See, google.com, and this will technically launch my this browser. Okay. So this is the main usage of this HTTPS and hitting that particular google.com for me. Okay, and it will be launching the Google website for me. So get will be doing the same thing which navigate.to will be doing. Okay, the only difference is if you actually study the inner structure of navigate.to, so technically navigate.to inner structure is also calling get. So don't get confused between these two methods. Mostly actually even the interviews also we confuse them, but there is no such major difference. Only the difference I will see is that navigate.to is actually a kind of overriding or kind of calling that particular get methods in its own area where that particular method is implemented. Okay, so don't get confused with that. That's all I have a suggestion for you. Okay, now let's try with a different method. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead with the another method, which is your get page source. Okay, now I've already landed up to driver.get. Okay, now I'm already on that particular google.com. Once I trigger it, I will show you. Let me do one thing. Let me give you a driver.get title. Okay, let me fetch the title of that particular window. Okay, and this will be returning as a string. So let us do one thing. Let us actually pass it inside the system.out.println, so I can print everything on my console and I can showcase you as well. Okay, so moving forward with that, we have a get current URL, which will be actually returning the same thing, which I have passed it over here, that https.google.com. Let us try with that too. Okay, let me do the same thing over here, driver.get current URL. Okay, let us try these three first, and then we can move forward with the other methods as well. Okay, let us try with these three first. So it actually hit the google.com. It worked, and let us go back. See, the Google was the title which I printed earlier over here. Okay, this is the URL which I actually passed. So technically my current URL is providing me the current actual URL of the application, which is actually currently live. Okay, and then I would say the get title is printing me the same title value which it holds over here, Google. Okay, now let us do one thing. Okay, now let us interact with this. This is having a name, I guess, name queue. This might be having a name as a queue. Yeah, correct. So let us do one thing. Let us interact with it. Okay, I was showcasing that particular interaction element later on, but just for fun, let's do it. Okay, so driver dot find element method is basically for interacting with your elements. Okay, now I'm going to interact with the search box, which the input box which you are seeing on the Google screen. Okay, where you actually type your queries. So by dot name. Okay, my name is Q, and dot send keys, which I have like Techify Zone. Okay, Techify Zone, or else a Techify Zone YouTube, which will actually bring us some tutorial videos as well, right? Then submit, or else let us do a submit later. Okay, submit. Okay, so what we have done is we are hitting the URL. We will be doing this, and over here let me add a string as well. So current title. Okay, and let me do one thing. Let me do the similar kind of case for you over here as well. Okay, so current URL. Okay, so after I submit, I'm just adding a slight delay. Okay, thread dot sleep, though I don't recommend it, but still, just for this slight delay of 3 seconds. Okay, and I already have it handled over here. Let us trigger it. Now we'll see the difference. What happened previously and what will happen next. See, I'm on this, and my title should be Techify Zone YouTube Google. Okay, my current URL should be embedded with the search query. See this, my current title is Techify Zone YouTube Google search. My current URL is embedded with my search, your Techify Zone search, and then the further URL. See, so this current URL is providing me the, even if I am on a different screen right now, it will provide me the current URL. Okay, I hope now you got the actual functionality of current URL. Okay, and we look good on Google as well. Like, we have a good SEO. That's good. Okay, let me go ahead with the another. So we have already covered this get. We have already covered this get title. We have already covered this get current URL. Now we are left with only one method, which is get page source. So that's a tricky method. So let's do one thing. It will also return a string. So let's try this. Driver dot get page source. This one. What it will do. Now, suppose, okay, let me do one thing. It will actually print the complete page source of the application. I will showcase you as well. First, let me print it. I will showcase you how it is printing it. Okay. Now it will track the page source and it's going to print it. See, it printed plenty. There were a lot of lines over here which actually it printed. Or else let me do one thing. Let me before after reaching it, let me do trigger it right then. Then it might be a little bit shorter. See, this thing happened. This was the page source. The complete backend source which was working, and then my title and my current URL got printed. See, and I will showcase you as well. If I go back, view page source, this is what I printed now on my console. Okay, so this is the page source which we actually use sometimes with respect to some of the business requirements where it is required. So that's how we get the exact page source of this, and we interact with the backend code as well. Okay, so now we have covered get, page source, title, and current URL. Now let's go to this one, navigate methods. Okay, so suppose let me comment this one. Okay, now suppose I need to navigate to maybe a youtube.com. Okay, so let me do one thing. Driver dot navigate dot to, and I'm going to pass another URL over here, youtube.com. Okay, now what happened? It will actually first go to google.com. It will search my criteria. It will navigate to a different URL now, which is youtube.com. Okay, see, it navigated to youtube.com. So technically my code is working, right? It navigated to a different URL. Now my job, like my task is like I've navigated over there, but I want to move back. Okay, so I can use a back. Okay, again I decided to move forward. So I navigate dot forward. Okay, and later on, at last, I decided to do a refresh. Okay, so I am using all the navigate commands in one go. Let us try with that. Again, it will go to Google, Google, from Google to YouTube, YouTube back to Google, again back to YouTube, and do a refresh. See, it refreshed the YouTube application twice. So everything is working as expected. Okay. Okay. Now you have learned till now. I will recap everything so that you don't get lost over here. I will recap again. You have learned all the get commands, okay, and all the navigate commands. Till now you have learned this. Okay. Now we'll move to another set of commands which are related to your, I would say, basic interaction commands. Okay. So let me remove this. My basic element interaction commands are your, I would say, send keys. Okay, then we have click, then we have clear. Okay, so these are my basic interaction commands, okay, which I'll be further using it. Or let me do one thing. Let me have one, there is a one website called Orange HRMS, which is a very good website to play around with. I personally prefer it because there is a lot of kind of uh, there should be a kind of play version to it. Okay, there was a sort of a play version. Let me navigate back. A demo website. There was a demo website which I remember. Yeah, over here we are. So we have a demo website. Let me copy this URL and go back to this. Okay, and let me erase a little bit from here. Okay. Now, instead of that, I'm going to pass this URL, which will navigate to the orange HRMS. Okay. And what my job is, I need to interact with these elements. So technically, if I need to interact with them, I need to locate them first, right? So let us locate them. Okay. So over here, we have a name called username. and it's an input tag. So I need to do driver dot find element so that I can locate it by dot name, and it's a username dot send keys. What I need to send. Send keys are basically used whenever you need to type a text. Okay. So send keys is technically used whenever you need to type a text. So I need to type admin for the username. Same I'm going to copy again and paste it over here. Let us find out the password. So password we have, okay, it's also a name called password. Let me paste it over here. And the password is admin123, admin123. Okay. Now my role is I have already entered my username and password. Now my third type is I need to hit this login. Then only I'll be able to log in, right? So I need to get something out of it. So if you see, over here, just see very carefully. Okay. Let me drag it a little bit, right? See, this one is a class for this particular button, but I don't prefer it because there are chances that this may change. It doesn't look that much static to me technically. Okay. So, or else I will go ahead with this one. Okay. I'll go ahead with the div tag over here. Div over here. Close it and a button. Okay. So let us go back to this and do a find element by dot xpath this time. Okay, because we have created an xpath this time. And what operation I need to perform? I need to perform click. Okay, so once I click it, it will log in me to the actual applications interface. Let's try that. Whether our send keys, whether our click is working or not. Let us try that. Okay, I got an exception in the backend. Now this is a very, very funny part which I need to showcase you. What happened? We got an exception over here, right? So technically we are getting no such element exception. So it's very important to read your exception. So we got there was no such element which was named as username. But we find out, right? We had an element which was having a name attribute with the value as username. Then what happened? Actually, what happened? That driver dot get was able to load the application, but the front end was not able to load. It happens very, very often that your backend DOM is loaded, but your front end takes a little bit time to load. And once your DOM is loaded, or once your complete application is not loaded in a synchronization way, these find element will not work. So technically, I need to add a little bit of wait. Okay, maybe a 2-second wait will enough, right? Now I need to trigger the code. So these are the observations which you can go through only once if you have an idea about your this how to read the exceptions. Okay. See, I was able to log in this time. Nothing changed, only a 2-second wait added up and it actually logged in me to the application. So that's the power of understanding going through the exceptions as well. Okay. So we have covered up send keys and click as well this time, and we are just left with this clear. So let me do one thing. Let me comment this line instead of login. What I need to do is I need to clear dot find element. I will just copy paste the password field. Okay, and I need to do a clear, which will actually erase all the text which is written in the application. And first it will enter. Okay, I will add a thread so that you can see what's going on. I will add a thread of 3-second wait over here so that you can see it easily during the execution what's happening and how it is working. Okay. So thread.sleep 3 seconds. First it will enter admin password as well, but later on after 3 seconds it will clear it. Okay. Somehow this functionality didn't work. Let me check why. Though it has passed, maybe. Okay, let us try with this username as well. Maybe there's some gap we need to look into, but still, let me try. Okay. Okay. We have admin password, and then password was having the reference and it didn't clear. Okay, now I got the point. Why it didn't clear? Let me try with this. Okay, again, it's not working. So maybe there is some DOM structure which is not allowing the text to be cleared. Maybe the attribute value I need to change or something like that. It happens because there can be a case that your whatever the text you are entering, it's not taken as a text, it's taken as an attribute value. So you need to clear the value out of it. So that can happen, but the clear method is technically used to clear the text out of that so that you can enter the fresh text. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so now okay, now we have already done with all the interaction commands like your click, your clear, and click doesn't only work with your buttons, it also work with your checkbox, radio buttons as well, your links as well. Okay, let me check if this application holds any link. Okay, forget your password is a link. Okay, let's drag this and use a click over there as well. Okay, I have a div tag over here. It's a kind of a similar thought. Okay, never mind. I have a div tag over here and a button. Okay, so similar, very, very similar. What I need to do is I need to enter this ID and password, and it will click on the forget button, forget password, and it will navigate me to the different URL. Let's take this admin ID and forget button, forget your password. Hit click. Somehow it's not working. Let me check again. Maybe no browse, no such element exception found. Yes, again. So let me, maybe it's an anchor tag. I missed it. It was a P. Okay, sorry, my bad. It's a P. Okay, so technically it's a P, and it's a kind of a, you can say, paragraph which was written. Uh, okay, let us try with this now. Okay, okay, it worked, and I am navigated to reset password page. Okay, so that's how click also works on different links, different radio buttons, different checkbox, different your even on the drop downs also you want, sometimes you need to click, sometimes you need to click anywhere in the body so that your whatever you have entered into it might have got a processed API which is running. Okay. Sometimes we have some kind of an applications where you enter a text, and until or unless you hit a tab button or click anywhere else in the application, then only your API get triggered and it process that particular text. There are some applications like that where you need to implement these kind of strategies. Okay. So we have done this as well. And now we are left with your this managing browser windows. Okay, this is a very, very important concept, I would say. Like it actually provide you the value of different browsers, so that in case if you are interacting with different set of tabs, okay, in that case it's very helpful. Just like right now what I need to do is I am string and window id, or let me directly print it instead of saving it into a variable. Okay, so if I say driver dot get window handle, which will return the current windows kind of current session, your session ID or window ID. Okay. And then again, I will do a same copy paste over here because I'm navigating to a different window. Then let's see whether it's printing a different value or it's the same value. Okay. First, I am on the login page of the Orange HRMS. Okay. It printed one value. Now I'm going to go to the forget your password window. It will print another value. Let us see whether it worked or not. Let me close it. See, it is the same because my window is same. Whatever the window I was over here, it's same until or unless I'm navigated to a different window like this. Okay. So until or unless I'm not navigated to a different window, my window ID will be same. So these kind of concepts will help you to track down your window. Okay. So in case if I have multiple windows, suppose I am using any of the application where I click on something and it will navigate to a different window. Okay. It will open a new tab for you, suppose. Okay. In that case, there are multiple windows and you are completely unaware where is your actually driver pointing to, on which particular window your driver is pointing to. In that case, you need to do get window handle so that you can get the window ID of it and you know where exactly your driver is pointing to. And further, you want to switch between the multiple windows, right? And then in that case, what you can do is you can call driver dot get window handles. It will return the set of all windows for you. So technically, it is returning me a set of all windows. Okay. See, its explanation is a set of all the windows it will be returning, like as a window IDs, it will be running as a string. Okay. And let me call it. See, and then if I print it like for string s colon window, if I print it, it will print all these different windows which I have opened up with their window ID. In this case, like most of the interviews we usually ask, like if you have suppose a link, if you have suppose 5 links on your browser and you have clicked on all the links and now you want to know on which particular window your driver is pointing to and you have to switch between your third window and the second window back and forth, how will you do it? So the first answer is get a window handle. So technically you will get the particular window ID of it. Then get window handles using a set. You can track between the second index and the third index. So technically, also we usually ask that like if you have by mistake you have clicked on same link 5 times. Okay, it has opened 5 different tabs. Technically, you have clicked on same link 5 times. So it's opening all the tabs which are identical, like your duplicate tabs, I will say duplicate tabs, right? Which are equivalent to each other. So will this get window handles will save all the string IDs, all the window ID? No, because we are using set over here. So technically set don't accept a duplicate window ID, right? So it will accept only the unique windows which are opened on the top. So you will be interacting with only one window which is unique. The rest 4 duplicate will not be interactable. That's also an interview question for you. Okay. A kind of a question which we actually ask and which most of the actually candidates also get confused over here. So now what we learned about get window and get window handles. Okay. Okay. Now I don't want to stretch up this whole session a little bit more. I want to make a part two, which will be at tomorrow. Okay. And I'll be dropping another session tomorrow, continuing this particular session where I'll be teaching other topics just related to this, like handling alerts and closing an browser. And then we will be automating an end-to-end flow using everything. Okay, I will try to use all these under a single flow, an end-to-end kind of a flow in this Orange HRMS only, where I'll be logging to the application, I'll be going to the admin page or a kind of a leave page where I'll be navigating between different windows. I'll be handling alerts as well, where I'll be deleting a leave or applying a leave. And then at last, I'll be closing some tabs and quitting the complete browser. So stay tuned for the next session, which will show you the actual usage when I combine all these queries together. Okay, so that's going to be a very, very important session for you. Okay, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll be seeing tomorrow again and in the continuation as part of like this session. Okay, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed Techify Zone yet, do subscribe it. It will help us and it will give a lot of support to us to keep working hard and to keep bringing these kind of content for you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.